Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years, rocking our peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion, overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering. Shot with these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest. They'll all get slashed dice. Competition, pay the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Oh, mama said knock you out. Oh. Guess what?
You're enjoying yourself with that one.
We're back, everybody. Like two ancient warriors from an old war brought back from cryogenic stasis to rise once again into the miasmic wasteland that is pop culture. It is the Random Podcast Show, to use the old pronunciation, returning on Twitch. Oh boy, it was weird hearing that for a second. I am your host, the ever exuberant Tyler Chansey, the digital desperado, editor at thegamefanatics.com, and with me, as always, the host, the lovely, the fuzzy, the all-so yummy Michael Mosley.
How long have we been gone? Because, man, it's been... I don't even have a response for that. It's been so long. Usually we have a response. But, it's been way too long. So, yeah, the cybernetic geek is back, and the furry fox is back, and we have a new home. Forget YouTube. We're on Twitch now. We're doing it. We're doing this live. Forget it. We'll do it live.
We're doing it live, sucker. Yes, new tools, new stuff, new complications that I will not be getting myself into. It has been a very rough couple of weeks, and I'm not just talking about American politics. Low blow. We are, of course, talking about so many things that have passed us by. So many crazy things that we could have easily talked about. But sadly, they were flown away because of the madness that is always the case when it comes to topicality and the grand algorithm that shall soon envelop us all. That got very dystopian very fast.
Yeah, how long have you been waiting to use that? And let's face it, that's a monologue. How long have you been waiting to use that monologue?
Monologue? Crap, let me see. I think... I think it was after my very first hangover.
So it's pretty much when you become a villain. You just you just became a villain, or maybe an anti-hero. We'll go with that. You just became an anti-hero of the show.
I am not the villain of the show, man. It's just not the villain. I'm not the villain. I'm too smart for my own good, and so I have to continuously distract myself with stupid ass anime and drink. I don't have any drink. I don't have any anime, so I'm talking about stupid pop culture stuff.
I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good drink to me. The nerdy stuff.
Oh,
what do you think that would be made out
of? That's good anti. God, no, oh no! This is the bad stuff. This is the bad nerd stuff. Get it out. Get it out. Destroy it. Burn it. Bury it. Bury it. Put in a nuclear waste thing, and wait till the half-life runs out, which apparently is maybe about a century, give or take.
Well, for those of you who are new to this show, or let's face it, pretty much everybody's gonna be new because, hey, we don't do this on YouTube anymore. This is called the Random Podcast Show for a reason. We barely plan any of this stuff out. We just get together and say, hey, let's record and press play, basically.
It is, shall we say, a loose association of topics and things that tickle our fancy, and we rely on our admittedly kind of barren patchworky knowledge and background as editors and journalists of various websites and stuff, and give our opinions on stuff, because opinion-based podcast shows always do so well, in theory anyway, and possibly, since through the magic of Twitch, you too may contribute to the conversation, if you will.
Yes.
Or you could try to figure out what slurs and swear words there and keep a tally. If you find all of them, you get a free Sunday.
Well, I'm not paying for that. been talking about doing this live and on Twitch for pretty much since the first season, the first episode of that random podcast show. The problem is,
Yes, the old Halcyon days when we thought Skype and Audacity were appropriate features
man,
for.
people, we tried so many things. We thought Audacity would work, but that took way too much editing time out, and some
It,
of
it,
our
it
shows
took
didn't.
way too much time. Took way too much time out.
Yeah,
I tried sacrificing a ghost in a jar to some horrible eldritch abomination for ungodly editing capability. Apparently, that demon was actually some homeless person drinking bleach outside of a Walmart. So I got a ghost in a jar that I can't use anymore. And we also tried hiring a professional mixer to help with the sound levels, and turns out it was just a chimp that had a thing for Kit Kat bars. We still keep them on hand every now and then. But then we found out we basically were able to kill multiple birds with a single stone with magic. I mean, the loveliness that is various apps, including OBS, Streamlabs, and Discord. So, saved ourselves some money, and we got a free monkey out of it. So, all well and good.
yeah, and man, it's so weird doing this live now because usually we're frantically trying to figure out how to get Audacity to work, and now we have
Do, do,
like
we, do,
one
do we
program
have the
to go
thing?
with.
Do we have the thing? Are we synced up yet? Do we have to clap yet? Crap. Do we have our levels out here? Oh dear gosh, I am so glad technology keeps moving this fast, and I'm
Yeah,
actually kind of.
yeah. So back in the olden days when we first started this podcast, we had to
Back in
do
my day, we used to have a thing called
oh
radio.
yeah, yeah. We actually had to do like a sound check, and now we do that now, but it had to be like, okay, we're going to do a countdown, and I'll make a sound to make sure everybody knows that we're ready to go. And it was so weird that sometimes we had to stop recording because Audacity would screw up or something, or somebody's memory wouldn't work,
or or
and
so-
we had to do it all
or
over again.
or somebody would sneeze. It was a one take. It was a one take experience, and
Yeah,
it was
but
it was a bit embarrassing.
yeah, but the great thing about this is now if we screw up, there's no going back. There's no resetting. There's no restarting. It's everybody knows it now. It's everybody knows it.
Oh dear me, that there's no pressure at all. So, big stuff that happened recently. Let me see here. Stuff people care about. Stuff people care about. Stuff only I care about. Oh dear, that's a very small Venn diagram. Oh yeah, was there like a thing that happened in San Diego? Some sort of what's what I'm looking for? An exposition of graphic novel, a sort of convention, maybe? Hmm? Anything like
You mean
that?
something that was supposed to be about geek culture, and then for some reason Hollywood moved in? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like that happened.
Dang it, Michael. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, in in Hollywood's defense, they really jumped into nerd culture or pop culture, I guess if you want to call it.
The
So I guess
the
it's
good,
okay.
the good, the bad, and the. Ugh. But that's a topic for another time. Hashtag rehire James Gunn. Sorry, did I say something?
Actually, man, it did happen right around Comic Con, so that's topical, man. That's relative right now. So
I
I know you
I
want I
feel
know
like
you want to rant about it so bad. I know you do.
I feel like I really do want to say something about this. For those of you who don't know, it seems that Disney, well, Marvel Studios, which is basically owned by Disney, have officially severed all ties and have blacklisted the director James Gunn from any future Marvel projects. For those of you who do know, James Gunn directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, 1 and 2, and has a history of being a bit of pro, a highly provocative shock comic, well, attempts at it. And the reason why they did this was because a certain, I don't want to give names, I don't want to actually bolster his name or like, but a certain well-known member of the neo-Nazi alt-right movement brought back up old tweets that James Gunn made way back in 2009, and resurfaced them and basically slanderized them, basically form a form of character assassination, saying, do you really want this sort of person,
and
blah blah blah, whatever. Because for those of you who don't know, James Gunn has a very long history of being part of Troma Studios, which is an independent film production known for highly provocative, shocking, hardcore R-rated movies. No, for gore, TNA, just really raunchy in your face stuff. And he had a propensity for saying some very derogatory or harsh things when it came to sexual assault and the like. Now, he said this 10 years ago. He said those things 10 years ago. Those were horrible things, to be sure, things you should not trivialize. Something that Disney would obviously want to distance themselves from. However, James Gunn went on to apologize for those statements in an official statement at the Hollywood Insider in 2012, and he said, "I don't like the man I used to be, and I want to be better." That's basically what he said. He said, that part of my life's over. I was stupid back then. I'm going to be better now. And that was before the premiere of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. If you've seen those movies, they're a bit off, but there's a lot of good humanity and some great emotional moments and chemistry. I think way back when we talked about the movie, we really loved them. Like, really enjoyed that core stuff. The guy is a good director. And this is not an instance like Roman Polanski, who was also a good director, but was found, guilty of some very heinous crimes, and he kept doing them and basically, got away with it. Gunn apologized and claimed he wanted to be a better person. Now, for the person in question that I am taking very great lengths to say nothing about or credit for or do anything for, is a member of the alt-right, and this guy has a known history of Holocaust denial, promoting pedophilia, and so many other horrendous things: anti-Semitism, HIV denial, all this big stuff, really horrendous stuff that he has made no compulsions at all about wanting to change, no compunctions about wanting to change that. He is a horrible person, and slanderized James Gunn to get the Disney Corporation to capitulate to him. And because of that, this whole thing sets a very dangerous precedent for how influencers and media corporate interaction will be doing going forward. That's dangerous. That's scary. And it also emboldens and reinforces what he and his movement stands for. And I think I'm making absolutely no enemies that I care about when I say the following statement: fuck the alt-right. Yeah, that's right. I'm dropping an F-bomb right here live on Twitch. Fuck them. I don't affiliate yourselves with me. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like your attitude. I hate what you do to discourse. I hate what you do to intellectual discussion. I hate everything you are doing with how you're poisoning culture. Not just pop culture, not just nerd culture, but culture in general. You are a cancer. You are a cancer on the community and on the internet. And I want you to stop what you're doing. And what you're doing with James Gunn, who, as far as I can tell, is a man that may have had a bad past, but is actively making steps to improve himself. You're giving him hell for what he did in the past. And that's something I don't think anybody should do. I just want to get that off my chest.
You feel better now, because man, you've been holding that in. You feel better?
Yes, I actually do feel a lot better about that. If this came up, the problem is all this came up right basically during San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, I've got to start being around the bush and actually say, like, oh yeah, San Diego Comic-Con, yeah, it's a thing. Because, well, I kind of saw a bunch of people were talking about, like people I do continuously follow on social media: Dan Holson, Lindsay Ellis, Bob Chipman. They're all there, they're checking out all this stuff. And of course, since we are, I believe the phrase is nerd, Michael, it appears that there was a lot of interesting stuff that got announced. So, Michael, going over to you, stuff you liked.
So I think it's only fair that I don't just let you put yourself out there with the whole thing, This is a show that does real with pop culture, whether it's just the movies, the industry, video
Hmm.
games, whatever it is. I don't think James Gunn should have been fired for what he said 10 years ago for something that he's been trying to make up for. Now I can see if it was something that he was still doing. I can see something if it was recent. I can see
Yeah.
if it was something that he was doing that affected other people and Marvel and the movies and even himself in general. But what's the point of saying I'm sorry and trying to become a better person if people are still going to hold that against you a decade later? It doesn't make any sense. I understand why, and see, this is a double-edged sword. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I understand where Disney is coming from. I understand where Marvel Studios is coming
Do do
from.
do you though?
No, because it's a business move. It's hey, it's nothing
It's
personal
a
against Gunn. It's hey,
it's a
hey,
it's
Disney has their own problems. They have their own Black Past. What was that movie called? Song of the South.
you see that there's the problem right there. When you bring up an argument like that, you are burying the lead that you're burying the lead that this fire basically happened for something that was resolved long ago because in the moment it looked like bad press. Right now,
And that's what I'm saying. That's what makes sense with Disney and Marvel. It's bad
in
PR right now. And
in
the
the
thing is,
bad
I'm
like
not
right now, like hear me out. Right now, if
right.
right now during our recording, a representative at Disney on social media after getting talks to her like said like after in-depth research as to what happened, we are we are back in talks with James Gunn. We are issuing an apology right now, and we don't want and that'll be that. If that happened right now, I think a lot of damage would be done, but it would be done because people make mistakes. Like this actually happened recently, believe it or not. GOG.com they were promoting that Postal 2 was now on their service, which if you know anything about gaming culture was a game that basically sold itself and marketed itself on being as controversial and provocative as possible. And unfortunately, to illustrate this, they showed a GIF of the game of a person in first person perspective urinating on a tombstone that had the words game journalism written on it. And this was around the time this is around the time of the ArenaNet debacle involving writers on Guild Wars 2, which was another debacle kind of similar to this, but not really. And because of that, people were furious. GOG.com then released a statement saying we were trying we were trying to market how provocative and contentious Proposal 2 was. We were not trying to make a statement about the ArenaNet debacle. But now that we are aware of it, we apologize. We have deleted that tweet. We have
Never win a
reneged it.
solo game,
We are
maybe.
changing this, and we apologize. That's how the company did it. That's how they held themselves, and that was ultimately a good thing. It was still a mistake. It was still a problem. It was still egg on their face, but they still admitted to it. And I honestly don't think I'm asking too much for the freaking Walt Disney Corporation to do something similar.
Except that you kind of are. I mean, Disney is way too big of a company to do something like that. If
But
Disney,
that's no excuse, though.
no. If Disney were to come out and be like, "Oh, we made a mistake. We're bringing James Gunn back," it's just gonna bring a all new set of issues for them. Like
No, 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 no,
this
will
was a
not. No.
one, but it will be because let's
It,
face it.
it's,
With
it will immediately, and it will immediately remove any power that the alt right movement had over this. It will validate their statement. They will have to do damage control, obviously, for what's happened with James Gunn, but it'll also be a situation where Disney makes a stance on where they are, and where and what when it comes from when it comes to them understanding that people can change. It's a humanitarian approach, and Disney, more than anything, is a company that built itself on a foundation of being a brand on family values. The very fact that they even gave James Gunn the work on Guardians of the Galaxy showed they're willing to be open and willing to give that sort of benefit of the doubt to somebody with that kind of radical background. To throw them under the bus like that would be bad for them long term. And once again, there's a possibility this will snowball. I'm just saying it'll be a good means of reversal for them. And I'm willing, and I am saying ultimately it would help. It would fix a lot of different things.
Okay, see, you and I, we believe that, yes, because we know James Gunn and his work in the past. We know that he's a good director. We know he's a good fit for the Marvel film.
I'm
But
not just talking. I'm not just talking about that
no,
though.
no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
talking
no,
about.
no, no. I
No,
know.
no, hear
No,
me out.
hold on. And we know that it'll behoove Disney to do something like that. But you got to remember,
Here's the.
it's like you just said, they're a family friendly company. You got to think of the mainstream. The mainstream doesn't know who James Gunn is. If the
Oh,
mainstream
really?
media, well, and that's what I'm saying. If the mainstream media got a hold of this, like Fox and CNN and all that, and they start talking about this, and they start about how he's a pedophile and how he made these jokes, and they bring it back up, it's gonna look bad on Disney even worse than it does now. Like, yeah, social media, it looks bad on them, but
I have a
when it
rebuttal.
becomes
I have a. I have a
okay,
rebuttal.
okay, but when it comes to the mainstream, it's going to make Disney look bad. It's going to make the investors question Kevin Feige, if anything, and it's going to throw a monkey wrench into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 more than anything else.
Okay, then I have a rebuttal for you. Imagine right now this exact same scenario happened. The exact same thing. Everything happened. Same thing. Except instead of being James Gunn with some bad jokes, it was news reports of Robert Downey Jr. being arrested for driving under the influence and causing great damage to himself. Way using footage taken long ago before Robert Downey Jr. cleaned up, went into rehab, went on the public record to say he'd be a better person, and then got hired on by Marvel to be an Iron Man. That's the level we're talking about right here. Because if you want to talk about mainstream appeal, Robert Downey Jr. My grandmother knows who Robert Downey Jr. is, and you want to know how she knows him? Because if he's not drunk or in jail, he was in front of the judge saying, "I didn't do it this time."
Well,
He
yeah, I mean,
was he,
he was a
he
controversial
was
actor to
he was
pick. Yeah,
he was
I,
he was highly controversial, but then
yeah.
but once again he got cleaned up. He got cleaned up. He apologized. He claimed to be better. He got hired on to do Iron Man. He's been an absolute good person ever since. I'm not saying that just because he's a charismatic actor. I mean, he's on the record of being a good person. Like he's gone to
Well,
charity events.
no, 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 no. Yes,
He made sure everybody got a pay raise
yeah,
on Avengers
well,
2. But
yes, but look, the thing is, yeah, yes, Robert Downey Jr. has gotten better. He's done well, but
and
the thing is,
we're talking about mainstream appeal. Now, imagine if
right?
that happened
Okay,
with
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. Okay,
That would not fly.
okay, but hold on. The thing is, Robert Downey Jr. is in front of the camera at all times. James Gunn is behind it. He's the face for not the mainstream, but for people like you and me who loves Guardians, know what directors actually do and how they affect movies. The general public, the masses, they don't care who the director is. Because let's face it, they replace, when it came down to Ant-Man, oh, jeez.
Edgar Wright
Edgar Wright,
with,
thank you. They replaced Edgar
with
Wright.
Edgar Wright with Peyton Reed. Yeah.
Yeah, you and me, we knew who Edgar Wright was. We know what he can do. We know that his style fits for something like Ant-Man that the mainstream, and let's face it, a lot of pop culture people like us don't really know or care about.
Here's my issue though. Here's my issue though,
Hold
man.
on, they replaced him easily. There's no issue with replacing James Gunn for Disney. For you and me, yeah, it's a big issue because we know James Gunn is part of what makes Guardian of the Galaxy, the movie, the live action movies, a success. So we're
Here's my issue.
concerned that the next
Here,
director won't be able to do the same thing. That it'll just be a
but
knockoff, if anything.
my issue though isn't just with PR reception. Isn't just with PR reception. It's what exactly they're invalidate. It's what they're validating by doing this, by validating the stance by the person that I will not bring up by name. It opens the door for them to perform similar actions by this and press things because right now, because of the ubiquity of internet culture and outrage culture as it stands right now, things are becoming more insane right now when it comes to companies bending to the outrage by influencers or people of note, regardless of their politics, regardless of what they believe. There's now becoming more of a precedent now for major companies to basically say, "Okay, we're sorry. We're sorry. We pissed you off. Let's fire this person you don't like." And
Yeah,
first of all, not only does that not only does that reinforce so many very toxic ideas of entitlement and and elitism and gatekeeping, which makes me want to vomit my mouth and not think more about it. It shows how more behind the scenes stuff is coming. forefront. I know mainstream assholes are going to be are going to dogpile on this. I mean, hell, Senator Ted Cruz threw his 2 cents, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad James Gunn is gone. Like, I knew that was going to happen. That was going to be obvious fallout. That was obviously going to be egg on the face. What I'm concerned about is this is going to lead to more problems if Disney doesn't nip this in the bud and recycle it. Yeah, it's going to look bad, but I'd rather have them stop it here than to have something happen like down the line where I don't know. I don't know. Steven Spielberg gets fired from directing, I don't know, the greatest movie ever made because he tweeted once a long, long time ago that something was like Nazi Germany, and apparently you can't defend blah, blah, blah anymore. And now, oh no, we're outraged, fire him. And they'll have plenty of precedent to do it.
Yes, I agree with you. Like we talked about before, it's Disney trying to save face. That's basically what it is.
And
It's a quick,
failing.
yeah,
And failing.
yeah. It's a quick way for them to save face. It's like, hey, we're gonna nip this in the bud, but the wrong way, and we're just gonna throw this all off. Production hasn't started, so they're not really wasting anything. They
And
got the
here's the
script
other
from them.
and here's the other issue. From what I can tell, the reason why this attack happened on James Gunn's character was because he was very outspoken against the current presidential administration.
Yeah, and that I'm not very political, so I myself won't get into that. But
I don't want things to I don't want
yeah,
this show to turn into not roundtable starring not Bill Maher because
yeah.
we're actually likable people.
Wow. I mean, to some we are, but
I mean we're
let's
ostensibly likable people, and that's
yeah.
not the mission statement of this show.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we try to keep it fun, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with, we're both intelligent men, at least in our own rights, and there's nothing wrong with bringing this stuff out. And again, this is Disney trying to save face, but like I agree with you. Where does this end? Like, where do we draw the line? Where do we say this is bad PR and this is just bending to the will of oversensitive people, or at least evil trolls who pretend to be the overly
Okay,
sensitive
Michael.
people?
Let me just be very clear here. You basically just called members of the alt right sensitive snowflakes. I'm so proud of you.
Look, hey, your words, not mine, but pretty much, yeah. They, I'm not very political, but yes, they are. They whine about everything that doesn't work for them.
I'm so proud of you, man.
It's oh,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's 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 like we never left.
Well, pretty much, man. We're back on. We're firing all cylinders right now. But
You,
yeah,
you want me to you want me to do the rap again?
no,
Okay,
please no.
I'll stop.
But yeah, like the question is, where do we draw the line? Where do it's the same with like God, and please don't get mad at me for this, but it's kind of like with the Me Too. It's a good intention. I understand it. I like that there's more people getting together, but where exactly do we draw the line? Because there are people who use it loosely, and it ruins what it's supposed to be. And people starts to have this, and I bring that up because people have this skew view on what assault is, and accusation and rumors, and it ruins. I don't know. It brings out the worst in people, especially on social media, and we have to figure out, well, where do evidence with James Gunn and the stuff that he tweeted and he said, that's finished. That's finished. We know where we're going. We know where that line is. But where do we draw the line of, hey, we have to get rid of this person fast because I
the,
don't know.
the problem for me though with the comparison comparing to the Me Too movement is that there is precedent for some of those arrests, testimony, evidence, that's testimony, evidence, etc.
Right,
That
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I like the Me Too. I like we know where that stands, but we know that
yeah.
there are people who use it loosely and they throw it out there and they use it as a way of rage
Oh,
against others. And
I hey, this person was mean to me, so he might have done something to me. I don't know. Hashtag Me Too. So, I know
it's really weird.
I know what you're getting at with that, but I don't think there's a bit of an equation. But having said it,
Oh
though,
no,
you
no,
are
no. Those are two
you
different things. Yeah, completely two
but
different
you're
things.
but you are talking about how it seems that sociologically perception and feeling has supplanted fact and procedure now,
Yes,
and
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like,
honestly, I don't want to think too hard about that because it
yeah,
actually makes me really sad.
the thing is, people try to do the right thing, and it becomes a he say, she say, and then the companies get involved, and then jobs on the line, and then it it, it goes so much further that we have to learn. We have to figure out where do we put accusation ahead of anything else. You don't. You need evidence. We have evidence on James Gunn saying these things. We have evidence of him admitting it, apologizing, and doing better. So that should draw a line of, hey, whatever this guy said shouldn't affect his job because it's old news, it's done, it's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
And it's just, and people don't want to see that. They just want to see the now, and sometimes they see the past as a now. And there's a line to be drawn, and we need to figure out how to do it, especially when it comes to big companies. Because, like you said, they will, and it will work every time. They will bend to the will of these people, and there
And
has
I
to
don't,
be a line drawn.
and I don't right, right call. That is the worst possible call you can make. That leads to madness.
Yeah,
So
I think
so
they
so
jumped.
so
I
so
think they jumped the gun. No pun
so
intended.
ha 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 jump the gun.
Yeah, ha ha ha. No pun. I
Oh
caught
man,
that
that
the
was
last
bad.
second. But San
Oh man,
Diego Comic
that's bad.
Con, we got our little spiel out. You have a
Yes,
few things to say about San Diego Comic Con.
San Diego. Okay, San Diego Comic Con. Honestly, I really didn't pay too much attention to the stuff that was there. I wasn't there on the show floor. I couldn't actually physically be there, so I mostly gathered reactions through my social media feed while I was, typing up something and taking care of a few other things. So my impression of the show was, hey, well, this was before I looked into it. My first impression of the show, from what I gathered, was like, oh, hey, DC actually had some stuff that didn't look like it was hot garbage, and some small other stuff got announced. Like, ooh, don't mind if I do. And now that I've looked over and watched some of the trailers and stuff, I can say, yep, that was definitely a Comic Con, all right. It had share of good moments, controversy, and okay, but
I
so
mean, they've shown plenty that we made fun of. So if that was an okay show, man, I can't wait to see what they do next year.
so all right. I have to ask Michael, since I've been talking quite a bit. Let's start with you. What was the stuff you liked that was shown at San Diego Comic Con?
I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, for anybody who remembers the show, they know that you and I truly love Marvel stuff, and while we tried giving DC a chance, we kept getting disappointed time and time again until Wonder Woman.
Oh dear God, Batman v Superman is still in
Oh,
my head.
that
It's still in my head as one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my
well,
life.
I don't think one of the worst movies I've seen, but definitely one of the worst superhero movies. Uh, I am actually excited about Shazam. I that was a surprise for me because when I saw like the production photos and the stills, I was like, wow. Not only does that costume look awful, but I don't know anything about Shazam, so I'm not excited. The trailer they showed at
I
Comic Con, hey, I'm down. I want to see this movie.
I saw the trailer too, and I'm like, this actually looks like it's going to be fun. Like, I think we kind of DC Comics has some of the most iconic and well-known characters ever, and yet it seems that they keep trying to overthink things when it comes to their characters. Like Christopher Nolan kind of made it work with his Batman movies. Like, oh hey, what if we took the idea of a vigilante super duper seriously, and for Batman that fit? And then you got Man of Steel, that was a bit insufferable. Then you had Batman v Superman, where they had a version of Batman, a version of Superman that nobody recognized or liked, and nobody cared about. And I'm trying to say, like, these didn't feel like the actual characters. I saw the trailer for Shazam, and I'm like, no, this fits. That's Billy Batson. That's Billy Batson. Good at heart kid that meets a wizard and he gets superpowers. I'm like, okay, and they have fun with that setup.
Yeah,
Like,
again, I know nothing about Shazam. All I know is like he was a little boy who
he
gained
he, he,
superpowers, and
he, he,
he was supposed to be like what, one of the strongest characters in the DC universe.
Earth's mightiest mortal, they refer to him. And at one point, he was more popular than Superman. And
Wait,
canonically,
didn't they make him more powerful actually? Like wasn't he
his,
able to go up to Superman because
his
he has magic or he has magic
yeah,
powers?
yeah, because his superpowers is magic based. He can actually fight Superman and win.
Yeah, man. If only he was in Justice League, that would have actually been fun because Flash
Yeah,
couldn't do it. But yeah.
but that's the appeal of Shazam. Like when he's a kid, he yells Shazam. He turns adults heroes. strength and all that power, but he's still supposed to be a kid. And there's a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun with that with the comics and the shows that they use him in. That he's still this precocious, good at heart, innocent little kid rubbing shoulders with these adults, and they get a lot of fun out of that. Then I see that in the trailer where it's like, "Sorry, I broke your window, but you're welcome for not getting robbed." I'm like, that's a very kid-like idea.
While walking out with goodies that I'm sure he picked up because he thinks that, hey, I deserve this, man. So give me this.
Or better yet, he paid for them. It's like he paid for them, and then they come in Shazam, and then sorry I broke your window, and he just
Actually,
goes out like like a package.
one of my favorite moments in the trailer was actually his training montage trying to figure out what powers he have. I enjoy it when they do origin stories like this.
Admit it, and admit it. If you were like 6 or 7 years old and you got superpowers,
Dude, not even
you would
that.
do
If
stuff
I
like that.
if I got superpowers now, I would be running around trying to see what I can do, like they did in and like they did in Heroes with the cheerleader trying to figure out
Yes,
what power she has. I'd be doing that. Like, man, I'm gonna step in front of this car. I am going to jump off this building. I'm gonna see if I can fly. Like, like that's the only.
So what you're trying to tell me is that if you guessed wrong, we'd be scraping you off the side.
Well, I'm not gonna do all that. I'm gonna do like I'm gonna work my way up, see if I have like the ability to like withstand giant
I'll, I'll,
things.
I'll, I'll just start with like this soapbox, and maybe I'll work up to like a stoop.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the way they did it in the trailer where he used a skateboarding ramp to
Oh
give
yeah,
himself
skateboard ramp.
to give
Yeah,
himself
like a half
momentum.
pipe. Yeah,
Yeah, to give himself momentum and try to jump as high as he can and see if he could fly. I was like, you know what? That's
that's
smart.
cute.
Yeah, that is fun, creative, and smart. That is something we don't really see. Like the last time I think we saw something like that was with Iron Man 1, where Tony
Yeah,
knew what he wanted the suit to do and he was testing them out. And I'm hoping that's what they do with Shazam.
I I think Avi Arad said it once in an like the most interesting thing to watch when it comes to origin movie is the superhero figuring out their superpowers. It tells you a lot about their character, how they handle themselves, and how they approach things. And you can see that once again, Iron Man when he's working on it, iterating his suit. You see with Batman when he's working on his gadgets, or even that scene in Man of Steel where he's trying to figure out how to fly. Like that tells you a lot about the character, and what we see there in Shazam shows that this is the character as we know him and in a likable format being portrayed on the big screen. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Shazam will actually looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
Now,
anything else?
yeah, before we actually get off, because again, I don't know much about Shazam. Who's the villain? Because I thought it was Lex Luthor, but I know it's not. And who is this guy? Who's the main? Who's this villain he's going up against?
I'm actually not too familiar with Shazam's villains either, because the major big bad I know they like to use a lot is Black Adam, which is supposed to be another guy who has the power of Shazam, and
Was
he's the leader of this Egyptian themed nation called Kandak.
Yeah, wasn't that
And,
supposed to be Dwayne Johnson? Isn't he supposed to be playing Black Adam? Or are we still thinking about
allegedly, he was in talks for it, so maybe.
yeah,
So, so,
I'd
so,
actually
so
like
that's
to
a big
see
fat.
that.
So that's a big fat maybe. But other than that, though, here's the thing: Shazam was always a very campy series with a lot of fun characters. Like, in addition to Black Adam, there was actually a villain called Mister Mind, who I'm not kidding is a hyper intelligent, mind controlling, hyper intelligent worm.
I can see that. I mean, DC has a villain that controls people through singing. I forget his name.
The Music Meister.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I want to see him in the DC universe. To be honest,
Like there's plenty of stuff they can draw from, and because I really don't know too much about Shazam either. Like I know his origin, and I know maybe two or three villains he's associated with, and that's about it. So I should so that should be fun. So okay, Shazam. What else?
I hate to say it because I did not like the first one. Godzilla King of Monsters looks pretty good. I I'm looking forward to it. I know I was super disappointed with the first one, but this one I'm willing to give him a second chance. So oh, I know you love kaiju's, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and go
I
first.
I will admit I did enjoy whenever we saw like the profiles of like Mothra and King Ghidorah show up. So I'm right there for it. But honestly, honestly, I'm kind of in a wait and see mood right now with that one because I'm like, okay, that all looks nice. Like, hey, look who's here. I'm like, okay, is it going to be like 90 minutes of people doing stuff and then maybe 20 minutes of monsters punching each other like the last movie or not? You gotta give me more. That's where I am. I'm very wait and see.
Okay, see, I'm setting myself for disappointment again, aren't I? Because, in all honesty, I want this to be good. I want this to be good. I really, really do. And I keep holding up hope. They keep changing characters, and it seems like the soldier they used in the first movie isn't back. And
Who the
that's,
hell cares?
I mean, yeah, but I need to see some connection. Like they made that
Nah.
really big deal.
All really the only thing I'm willing to tolerate in terms of connection is the Monarch operation. That's it. That's really all you need.
Or
J-
they can
j-
bring
j-
back,
j-
or they can bring back Bryan Cranston. Huh? Yeah,
Bryan
yeah.
Bryan
Bring
Cranston
him back.
died.
Bring him back. I don't care what they do. Clone him. I don't care. Bring him back because because honestly,
So you're trying to tell me you're perfectly okay with Bryan Cranston or better yet, they Zordon and they like put his conscious into like a hollow display or
man,
whatever. It's like, listen, I have experience with giant monsters.
you know what?
We need five teenagers with attitude. Put them in super suits. We got this. We
No, forget that, man. I'll do you one better. Put Bryan Cranston's mind and conscious into Mecha Godzilla. That's what I want to see. Make that in part three. Make that the teaser in
you, you,
King of
you,
Monsters. Make that the stinger at the end of the movie.
you say the danger is coming. Well, I am the danger. Rockets. Godzilla.
Makes sense to
I
me.
am the one who knocks.
He becomes Mecha Godzilla, wants vengeance. What happened? Yeah, man. I'm done with that storyline.
You notice now, like I'm seeing him like choke slamming King Ghidorah. Is like, now say my name.
Throwing Godzilla on top of the roof. So okay, so yeah, man.
This
Does
is the
think
sort of
Bryan
not
Cranston really was the most interesting person in that first movie.
this is the nonsense I've made so much. We went from a Godzilla sequel to a Power Ranger spoof to a Breaking Bad kaiju fight.
Hey man, and you know what? Still far more interesting than that first Godzilla movie. So
Steal from us, filmmaker,
yeah,
or steal from. I don't care if it gets us fired. If it gets you guys fired,
yeah.
go for it.
This
I'll
is a
buy a ticket.
freebie. This is a
or,
freebie. Do it.
or, or better yet, the how it should have ended guy, or the guys over at Cinema or whatever. Pilfer this. Go ahead. I don't care. Just get your animators to show this off, and I will
Somebody's got it.
gladly go
Yeah,
for.
I will help fund it. I will help you fund that because that's something I would
It.
love to see.
Does How Should Have a Patreon? I gotta look this up.
We'll start one. We'll start with the change.org like everybody else does for some strange reason for something stupid.
Our
We'll,
our
we'll,
change title.
yeah, we'll do that as something stupid. Change the ending of King of Monsters to include that stinger, so that way they have no choice but to make that part of part three.
I don't know. I don't know, man. There's a lot more deserving stuff out there, like the petition to remake the last. Seriously though, no, don't do that.
Please don't.
That's a terrible idea. It's not going to happen. You're not. I mean, sorry, no, you're not going to happen. Moving on. Okay. What else was at Comic Con that you liked? Come on, man.
I actually even though I don't watch the show, I actually liked the way that Voltron season 7 looked. It was a surprise to me because it actually made me want to watch the series. I'd seen the
That's
trailers for the other stuff and I was like, yeah, okay, it looks kind of cool. But for some reason, 7 seems really heavy, and I was like, whoa, okay, yeah,
that
this is something I
that's
want to
what's
watch.
that's what's really strange right now because I've heard Voltron's good. I know Voltron's good. A lot of people keep saying, "Yeah, it's so awesome." No, you don't have to see any of the other stuff. It's good by itself. Go ahead, watch it. But then I look over it on my Netflix queue and it's like 6 seasons. Am I willing to invest that much time with it? Because I've mostly been rewatching old shows and stuff with that, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh boy, do I?
yeah, that was part of my issue too because I was like, I knew Voltron was there in season one. Netflix is pushing in my face like, "Hey, you love these shows? You're gonna love this." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not gonna
Like,
I'm not gonna care
like
because I didn't care about Voltron back when I was a kid. I didn't care about that old show." But yeah, I mean, I
Power
remember they,
Rangers,
I mean,
Power Rangers. We
huh?
were all there as Power Rangers.
Because they try to bring back Thunderbirds at one point in time, and I don't even know.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't even know how that did. So, but yeah,
Okay,
I didn't care about Voltron. I didn't care about the new Voltron. I didn't care about the old Voltron. I didn't care about. But the stuff they showed in season seven's trailer, oh, it made me want to like catch up to see how everything's gonna finish because it comes out in September, so that's plenty of time for me to go back and watch like 3 or 4 seasons because I'm not watching it every day. I'm not doing that. I'll watch it
that
sporadically.
that's perfectly reasonable. Okay, rapid fire stuff. I just want to get your brief opinion to some of the stuff that did get announced. Black Lightning season 2 got a trailer. Thoughts? Any at
Didn't
all?
watch it because I don't care about it.
Okay, moving on. Cosmos is actually getting a second season. Apparently they're
Never even
bringing
heard
back
of the
Neil
first
deGrasse
one.
Tyson.
Never heard the first Cosmo season.
I actually quite liked it.
And
Like it.
that's one of the things that went over my head. I did not catch into it, so when the trailer did come out, I didn't even watch it.
So yeah, okay, fine, okay, fine. Let's see what else they showed off. Steven Universe the movie. That's a thing.
Ah,
It got announced. There was no trailer that I know of. It was just like, hey, we're working on a Steven Universe movie. And apparently, you mentioned before that the director and creator of OKKO is coming back to help Rebecca Sugar work on the movie.
yeah, this is the only thing, surprisingly enough, the only thing that's getting me at least okay with the Steven Universe movie. And I say that because Rebecca Sugar, her and Ian, those two are the only reason that I even cared about Steven Universe. Because Rebecca Sugar, let's face it, she pretty much saved Adventure Time, and
Pretty
so like,
much Adventure Time, and she's just been batting 1,000 on the show.
yeah, she, let's face it, she saved that show. Um, but knowing that they were making a movie, especially this last season, was kind of disappointing. I'm gonna say it was disappointing. It's
Get
always,
out.
I'm sorry, man. It was. There was way too many filler episodes, and yeah, I know it's always been like that. They do filler episodes, it's like 2 or 3 episodes where it's super serious and do story based stuff. But we finally got down to the diamonds. Like they showed that off. I think at last year's Comic Con, they made a
And
big deal about the diamonds showing up, and
hear
then
me
we
hear
got
me
it,
out on
and
this.
it was
May I? Can you hear
no,
me
yeah,
for a
go
minute?
ahead, go ahead.
I think right now it actually would be the best time to actually make a movie because, from what I can tell, the way they're building up with the diamonds, the way they ended last season, if they do another season of Steven Universe, that might be the final season of the show. Because aside from what may be going on with White Diamond, with the rest of the Gem Empire, everything else is basically getting wrapped up. So the only real thing I could think of that would even end the show or even continue the story would actually have to be a full-on movie. Like I imagine they did like a sort of they did a series finale and they said like, okay, let's have the big finale, wrap up, happy ending, whatever, be the movie. And they ended on a high note. They say, okay, we're gonna just go to the nines with all this. I think right now,
Yeah,
if I'm saying right now, if they did a Steven Universe movie, I don't know, a few years ago, back when it was just kind of fun and innocent, and hey, I can still make the shield. It would
it would have been a musical movie. That's
it,
the only
it, would
reason
it
it would have
would
been.
it would have been it would have been a musical because singing and crying is the lifeblood of that show. And two, I bet you dollars donuts if they made it then it would mostly be filler and mostly not be all that good. It would be like the My Little Pony movie. It would be like, oh, that's cute, and then you'd forget about it almost immediately, despite some
Yeah, and
few
to be
scenes.
honest, if they did a movie back then, it'd probably focus a little bit on Rose, because I could have seen that like her story, her backstory. I could have seen that being a movie, if they
But
did that. But my problem is it looks like they're doing a new character, like a new villain that we've never seen in the show before. So why use that as a movie? Why not use Yellow and Blue Diamond for the Steven Universe movie, and then that last season wrap it up with White Diamond, because obviously I'm not even gonna spoil what happened in the last few episodes, but from what happened, obviously that's where it's headed. So why not use that movie for Blue and Yellow? It's weird timing to me. It's weird timing.
I'm willing to believe scheduling conflict and production studios being producers, producers being producers, and show business, son. Ha cha 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 cha. Okay, so okay, yeah, we talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
before we get by, you think that's the reason why this season's episodes were so sporadic? Because they were too
I,
busy trying to work on this movie.
yeah, I'm willing to say it's a combination of network being a butt or scheduling conflict happening. I don't know really a whole lot about animation executive hierarchy, especially from Cartoon Network, but it
Because
definitely.
well, actually, since you said that, Butch Hartman talks about that a bit, and if you listen to his podcast, it's actually pretty interesting. But yeah, yeah, it's all speculation between you and me. I'm with you. Who knows? It could be scheduling conflicts. The animation industry is weird that way.
It is chaotic. Let me see here. Invader Zim Enter the Focus. Apparently, we got a big trailer for basically a TV movie return of Invader Zim, the beloved 1990s Nickelodeon cartoon that got past all the censors somehow. And
And
I remember,
that was back when Nickelodeon actually, like, they were still in that 90s early 2000s kind of aesthetic where you can do gross out humors and do like subtle adult humor until they like, yeah, let's tone this down because bro, 6 year olds.
especially since both Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern Life are supposed to be getting TV movies, and some of the stuff they got away with Rocko's Modern Life. I mean, come on, a restaurant named Choky
Yeah,
Chicken,
Choky Chicken, yeah, and the
and they had
employee's
to
named Heifer. Come on,
they, they,
man, that's
they, they had to change it to Chewy Chicken because people started to talk.
yeah. Oh my goodness,
or, or,
Spunky.
or how about that time Rocco and Heifer showed up to a hotel? They're like, "Oh, okay, how long you need room? I'm gonna stay here the whole night. Oh, room? We don't usually get your kind here." Like, like whoa.
And there's a reason why I love those old shows. And why I love them now. When I was a kid, of course, I didn't get those jokes. I just thought it was kind of funny because the
Seriously,
characters were funny.
you go back and
Yeah,
watch some of those shows. That's shows now. It's like,
oh
wow, how did I
man,
not see that?
yeah, those are great. And the thing is, those are from people who watched like old 70s, 80s shows who did that a lot. And sometimes it wasn't even like just subtle jokes. It was like characters themselves were built around a sex joke or something. Like Tom and Jerry used to do jokes about suicide. Come on, that's not subtle
Yeah,
at all.
I don't think I think I need to fact check you. That's kind of nasty. But the thing is, what gets
No, no, no. Those old kind of shows, they had characters put guns to their own head, drink poison.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, like okay, it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's not fine, but I know what you're getting at. But
I mean, I'm just saying we're not gonna get away with that now or in the '90s. But like, these are people who
no.
watch those kind of shows, and they're like, oh, we can do jokes like that, but we had to be way more subtle about it, and it was
But
creative. So
here's what gets me though. The very fact we're getting an Invader Zim TV, you know, after the fact that that show got canceled. I remember probably that show full on got canceled, like taken off the air because they went too far. But like the Dark Harvest episode where Zim was like full on taking people's body parts or replacing them with stuff, and kids complained that it was too scary.
he's pretty
And
much eating those people, man. Let's
oh,
face it. He's pretty much eating them just to get big, or no, just so he can appear human for a checkup. I believe it was.
I want to be human, so I need human.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's so
that's what
mean.
happened. So it's much more surprising than let's say Rocco's mom life coming
Ooh, let's
back.
not forget.
So
I think in the first season, Keith, his quote unquote friend,
oh my
how
gosh.
he ended. Yeah, that show was
Oh,
so.
oh, yeah, where they ripped his eyes out and replaced them with like robot eyes that made him see a squirrel as
Yeah,
his friend.
and he kind of
Oh,
blows up. I don't know, it's so weird. And the last scene was just Keith's voice. That's so dark and awful. I loved it. Even as a
I,
kid, I thought
I
it was
actually,
great.
I remember liking the show too. Like, when I think about my sense of humor, I do remember Vader Zim kind of being influential to that extent. So, oh my goodness, it's kind of beautiful to see it. First of all, do we know what a florpus is?
No,
Th-
but
Nobody. Yeah, that's it. Nobody knows what a florpus is.
and the thing is, with this the trailer that they showed for this upcoming Vader Zim, I honestly thought it was going to be like a new season, like they were going to do like they're going to give him a mini season or something. But it was like, no, it's a
Kind
TV.
of like a limited run thing, like Samurai Jack, but
Yeah,
nope.
yeah, yeah. I thought they were going to do something like that, but the trailer shows nothing. It's really weird. It's so
It, it,
random.
yeah, it's either cut between like being like a stereotypical basement dweller with like no lights on, hunched over a computer, and Zim and Gur doing workout stuff. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
they're exercising in the front yard. Uh,
And it's
Cass, no, his sister, Gaz,
Gaz, yeah,
is doing something.
something.
She
Yeah,
has her own gas mask
it's
suit.
it's all very vague. It's very strange, but it seems like the big thing is supposed to take away from it is Zim is moving on to phase two of his invasion. So it's supposed to be. It sounds like they're taking elements from the Invader Dib special that ever got made and are trying to kind of repackage that. So I'm hoping that's the case. So you
Yeah,
know,
that'd be a good thing because it means they're going back to, like, not like that last one, that Christmas special thing where it was just it's
yeah.
but at least this one they're actually like, we're gonna go back to a story element and finish this. Let's give everybody the ending that we wanted to give them in the first place. Because the original creator, I think he wanted to end it with a TV movie,
Yeah,
and to do like an actual story ending, like an actual no joke, this is the end kind of thing. So it looks like they
and
get that chance now.
and then people talked, and then he got taken off the air, and here we are now. But here's the thing that I do. Okay, you know what? I gotta beat a dead horse. Who the hell's still watching The Walking Dead?
Man,
Ah,
I stopped after like season, like half, not even halfway through season three. The comic book is way better. I'm gonna be that guy. The comic book is just better. I don't know. I stopped keeping up with Walking Dead.
I stopped around the same time as well. Maybe around where I stopped, and it feels kind of weird because I remember because apparently it's San Diego Comic Con for the trailer. It's like, guys, hey guys, guess what? Rick's going to be gone by the end of this season. I'm like, are you kidding me? Rick is still alive. Apparently, that's how long plot armor lasts in the zombie apocalypse. 9 seasons.
Man, and the thing
Uh,
is, I've seen when I because I saw a bit of that trailer, I've seen where they put Rick, and it's like, well, by this point, with the comics, at least, again, I'm going back to the comics because that's far better, it's far superior. Despite the point they got Robert Kirkman to help with the show, they changed so much from the show from the comic, and I guess this is the reason why, because people grow, they leave the show, like what they did with Coral, it's
Coral.
Coral. Yeah, what they did with him, I was like, yeah, yeah, boy, I'm glad I did not stick with the show because I'd have been super mad. But yeah, from the way they do this, the Rick in the TV show is better off than the Rick in the comic books because oh man, Rick in the comics gets torn, man. I,
Say no more.
yeah,
Say no more.
no, I'm
It's
not
just
spoiling anything, but I'm going back to your plot armor. So that plot armor in the comics don't work out the way you think it would. In the show, hey, contract? I don't know.
contract. I'm sorry. Okay, so okay, I was just trying to get an idea as to what there. Now for stuff I actually enjoyed that I heard about coming out of the wood with San Diego Comic Con. Um, First thing I can say is that I know a cousin of mine's gonna be very happy now because apparently Charmed is getting another season, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a reboot. I'm not really into the Buffyverse or into Charmed. It's just, oh hey, look, another demographic they're reaching out to. That's fun, yay! And I was pretty sold on Shazam, same as you. And I'm gonna say it, Aquaman might not suck balls.
Uh,
I can't believe I just said
well,
that. I cannot.
see, okay, it's man. See, this is where it becomes harsh because, like you said before we even started recording, Aquaman is way too easy to make fun of. no matter
Oh,
how no matter how much they try to make him seem awesome. I
no,
know
no, no,
he's
no.
I know theoretically he's awesome. Like I can understand why somebody's a fan of his, but this
The, pro-
movie,
the problem I have with Aquaman is that there's a lot of material where he is amazing and if you use him right, it's smart and he's actually challenging. The problem is the way people see Aquaman all the time is just he talks to fish and he rides a seahorse and he's fun, but he's useless. And then
the thing is he works better in his own element, and I think that's the
uh,
big issue.
and if you use him right and the right elements, he can also be a big threat. Like I'm being serious. Once again, if you watch a certain show that I keep telling you to watch, you can actually see how pretty dangerous any of the Atlanteans are in the DC universe.
Hey,
And it's
whoa.
and it's also why I'm really impressed whenever I saw what they did to him in Justice League and they shortchanged the crap out of him. Then I saw the trailer for Aquaman and I'm like, okay, they actually understand that Atlantis is a huge place and Atlantis is to be reckoned with. The underwater sequences look great. All that looks good. Looks like they're bringing in Ocean Master and Black Manta. I'm like, okay, this is good stuff. And it looks like it's going to be an origin movie where apparently Aquaman is basically a baby that was adopted on the surface, and he comes back to reclaim his heritage, kind of like the first Thor movie. I'm not mad. I'll take my victories where I can get them, and everything looks like it'll actually be a fun experience. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a good movie, but I have a feeling it's gonna be fun and entertaining until I see Jason, and that's why I said it's not gonna completely suck. Like this is gonna sound mean, but Jason Momoa. I'm sure is a nice guy in real life. He's a very cool guy, very chill guy, very very obviously in shape, cool guy. I get that. He has like no charisma or screen presence at all. I every time I see him in any role, I just see him. I don't see Arthur Curry. I don't see Aquaman. I don't see anybody else. I just see I just see a bro. I just see a bro. And if you want Aquaman to be a bro, I get that, but I'm not getting any personality. I'm not getting any kind of discernible personality or charm out of this guy. It's like seriously, there's a scene where he's in basically a gladiator arena doing a trident duel for the right to the throne, and whether you use for a line, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Like you and any other blue collar, guy that's chugged two beers would probably say that if you got thrown in a bar fight. I don't get anything from that. I don't see anything with that. It's white noise. And it's really a shame because, like I said, everything else looks like it's going to be good, and I'm glad to see that it's actually going to be entertaining. I just don't think the lead is right for it. That's all. So I'm hopeful, but it doesn't look nearly as terrible as prior DC movies. I'm expecting. Darn it, what's what we're looking for right now? I'm not expecting Wonder Woman, but I'm also expecting it to be better than Suicide Squad.
Well, it definitely has the budget to outdo Suicide Squad. Um,
Ah,
I don't think
okay. So yeah, Aquaman actually looks like it'll actually be a fun ride. I've already said Shazam looks to be a lot of fun. Um,
I think I don't really. I mean, Aquaman looks like a cool rental. I'm gonna say it now. It's like something that I'd probably rent when it comes out on like Redbox or something. You said that you like the way the underwater looks. For some reason, I just don't like it. There's something about it. There's something like we've seen movies shot underwater, like actual live action underwater, and I know and I get it. You know, they have to be able to move like fish, like Atlanteans. But for
mhm.
some reason, I don't like. I don't know if it's like a filter or a layer that they're using,
It could be.
because the lighting looks good, the water effects look good. Like it's not the water itself. Like it looks like
The,
if
the,
you
the,
were underwater
the,
fighting,
the,
that's what it would look like.
and the sea life and the coral and the Atlantean structures that looks.
Yeah, no. They look great, but for some reason, it throws me out of the movie. At least from the trailer. I mean, hey, this stuff isn't finished. They can still touch up on it, but I find it really distracting. I don't
Huh.
know why. It distracts me so much. Like when he's on land and when he's just talking to people, it's fine. But when he start moving underwater and start doing action, like when he did, there's a moment where he's fighting Black Manta on land. That looks great. The costumes look
Yeah.
great. The effect looks cool.
Oh, with the laser blast hits and he's running and
Yeah,
yeah.
and they blow up pretty much a building. It looked cool. And then they do an action scene underwater, and I'm like, yeah, I'm distracted. This looks weird. I don't know. I get used
Underwater.
to it.
See, that's why I'm actually kind of champion of this because underwater is very hard to get right. And what I've seen, it looks like they're hitting a lot of the bases. So here's hoping they follow through with it. So yeah, okay. So that was fine. So that was fine. And I did see the preview they showed for the next season of Doctor Who, which, if you guys are not familiar, if anybody watching is not familiar with it, it's a big deal because there's a new actor in the role of the Doctor. There's a new showrunner. There's a new lead writer. Basically brand new talent coming in, taking over after Peter Capaldi was the prior Doctor, and also it's the very first woman as the Time Lord, known as the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and I looked at it and I saw the preview and I'm actually intrigued. Like I like the look for the Doctor. I like this sort of style she's bringing to it, and it looks like she's going to have like two or three companions as opposed to one. So I'm already seeing there's a bit of a change in the dynamic. Now, obviously I have to actually watch a couple episodes because the first season is always the trickiest because they're still selling into things, find their groove. But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic to see how this new Doctor and this new creative team brings things. Like, did you see this at all, Michael? This preview?
I didn't see it for you because I know you've been trying to get me to watch Doctor Who for a while. You praised Doctor Who in the past, and no man, I tried to get into the originals. I think they were still on Netflix.
Oh, the classic.
Yeah, the classics. I tried to go all the way back. I for some reason I enjoyed it, but I didn't get into it. So I have not seen this new trailer, and I even thought the female doctor. I don't even know her name.
Jodie Whittaker.
Right. Yes, Jodie. I thought she had already started, but then you reminded me that it was only a special to introduce her. So,
Because,
so it caught me off guard.
because that's how they always go about it. They get a new actor whenever the current actor leaves as the Doctor. He regenerates, and they get a new actor in for their introduction. That's how they always do. It's part of the BBC's production. So yeah, that was fine. But I would definitely say the one thing that made me go absolutely bananas was the confirmation of Young Justice season 3 finally happening, existing, being real and not an April Fool's prank, and coming soon. Excuse me for a minute, I think I'm going to cry a little.
Yep. All you gotta
Because
do is pay like what, 10, 20 bucks? No, wait, not even that. It's like $8 a month.
that is the issue, though. Young Justice season 3 is coming, but it's not going to be on Cartoon Network. It's not going to be on whatever. It's going to be a show that you have to watch via the DC Universe streaming service, which is supposed to be Warner Brothers answer Netflix, because everybody's got to have a streaming service now, and it's supposed to be for exclusively DC shows, DC shows and book movies, and like, well, I keep going to print. Never mind all that. I'm like, okay, you know what? For the Young Justice, I'm willing to I'm willing to invest in that because if there's anything else out there that's seeing Young Justice, the level of bullcrap of a cliffhanger season 2 ended on, and there's a lot of stuff they got to answer for, and I want to see how that resolves. Everybody's all on board with that, and it's full of characters everybody likes,
You know,
plots people want to see get resolved. Everything they got the original team back, they got the original animators back. This looks like a prayer answered.
you know who also feels this pain? Teen Titan fans. We have
I
unanswered
was
questions.
yes, absolutely. Especially, I mean, well,
Yeah.
how do you end a season?
Man,
Like it's
you see, you got it twice as bad because you enjoy Teen Titans and then you went and watched Young Justice. So you got two shows that you got like cliffhangers and no answers for. So
Spe-
you poor
speaking of
man.
Speaking of Teen Titans, though, I think we have finally addressed the
Oh
fat
my goodness,
elephant in the
no, no.
room.
Do we have to talk about Young Justice? I haven't watched season 1 and 2, and uh, um,
Young Justice season 3. I'm excited for, which is a whole lot more than what I could say for Titans.
do we have to talk about this? Because you
What next there to talk about? It's a freaking joke.
okay. So are we moving on to things we didn't like at San Diego Comic Con?
That's
Because
that's that's what we call a segue, my friend, because that is basically what I'm moving into.
yeah,
Because
I
what
know you are, but I want to make sure because after we done talking about this, I'm probably going to talk about something a little more upbeat. But
what
since
the
we're
heck were they thinking?
so
Like,
since we're moving on, hey, this I don't.
what the heck were they thinking? No, let's
I'm
get this out. What the
maybe
heck were they thinking with Titans? What were they
maybe
thinking?
hey, I mean, they took the teen out of Teen Titans, and for everybody who's been telling me that it's not Teen Titans, I finally got it because it's just called Titans. Because I made a tweet. I
That's
believe
much better.
no, but I made a tweet like I think a month ago, uh, before their panel
Mhm.
where they were showing off their stuff like the characters and all that. I tweeted, "Will the Teen Titans actually look like teens?" Because they got a bunch of adults to play them, and it was just me being snarky. And someone was like, "They're not Teen Titans; they're just Titans." I was like, "Well, then that's really dumb because they make it seem like they don't know each other. So Teen Titans is just where does this fit? Like in the lore, where does this fit? Since apparently Teen Titans was never a thing."
Probably in the same continuity where Adam Baldwin is the Joker or
Yeah,
something.
it makes no sense because if this is falling within the same lore as the cinematic universe, then you just broke
Okay.
your own lore. And if it's taking place as the same as the DC TV shows on CW,
The
then
Arrowverse.
then what? Because this looks extra dumb, and this is his own lore. You better not be trying to build up on more stuff. You better not be trying
Uh,
to introduce a new Batman, a new Superman. See, this is the problem with DC right now.
all of it looks so all everything about it just looks so terrible. Like I hate the design for Raven. I hate how they visualize her. She reminds me of the Enchantress squad, and I don't want to think
Oh,
about that movie.
yeah,
I don't want to remember that movie at
I didn't
all.
even think about that. Oh my god.
Uh, yeah. You know what I mean? They did that stupid blur effect, particle effect, creepy chick thing that all horror movies do now. It looks so cheesy and bad, and and honestly, when you said is this trying to fit in the same world as DCEU, it gets to that scene where Robin full on like kills some people with like a gunshot, and snaps some guy's neck, and he goes "fuck Batman" with blood and everything. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like
Yeah,
this is not. I started laughing. I honestly
I
started
thought that was
laughing.
I thought it was Jason Todd, and it was like, no, wait, that's actually Robin. That's Dick Grayson. That makes no sense. They
That's
would not do
it's
that
supposed
because
it's supposed to be Dick Grayson. It's supposed to be Robin. And in the back of my head, it's like, are you taking the piss?
and what's even worse, apparently, Jason Todd is actually in the first season. So, what they
like
best
like
friends? Because the thing is, between Jason Todd and Dick Grayson and Batman, was they each
that, that,
had a different idea of what makes a hero or what's right and wrong and what's justice. That was a
and there
cool
was
dynamic.
conflict there.
Yeah, that's a cool dynamic. Now you got Robin being Red Hood and Red Hood being Red Hood. What tension is there? What's the point of them not being friends? Like
These aren't superheroes. These are a bunch of assholes making excuses for themselves. And
it's the DC's version of Kick Ass, pretty much. Somebody was
but
a big fan of Kick Ass.
it's you're trying to tell me they basically watched Kick Ass with all the jokes and all the jokes taken out, so they thought this is what sells.
In fact, I don't even think it was the movie. I think they read the comics, the comic trilogy, because even Raven, I mean, not Raven, but even Starfire, for some reason, is torching people, like just full on, just torching.
I remember a long time ago when we saw like production photos of the costume design for Starfire, and we were like, "Hold up, this might actually fit." And then I saw it, I'm like, "That actually doesn't look half bad." And then she started killing people. I'm like, "What?"
man, and for pretty much like, oh, she's a black character. There are black fans. I'm part of I'm part of a group. None of them like this. It's like, first of all, she looks like a street hooker. Second, that wig looks awful. Third, what is with the flame throwing hands? Like, nobody likes this. Who is this for? Who is instead of some edgy 13-year-old who's
The long hair, I think, is supposed to be like a callback to like her like 80s
no
comic
no no no
design,
no no yeah that's
which I kind of get, except as you said, the wig looks terrible, and the
yeah,
rest of the outfit just no.
the outfit doesn't make sense. It, apparently, from what I've been told, was it's a temporary. It's just their pilot episode or their first go around, and they'll change. Like Robin is supposed to become Nightwing eventually. No, this show is not gonna last long enough.
Don't worry. We know the costumes suck. We're working on them later. Trust us. Why should we trust you? This is Comic-Con. This is you putting your best foot forward. This is supposed to be you selling us on this.
And the worst part is they didn't even show Gar. Like they showed one scene of Gar, and that was it. They showed one scene of Beast Boy. That's it.
Yep.
And that's him
Yeah.
jumping, not even transforming. Just yep. Oh wait, yeah. Oh, we see everybody else do action, but here's Gar. Here's Beast Boy jumping. Oh, what is he gonna transform into? He
I
gonna
swear
jump?
to I swear to God, if they turn Beast Boy into Animal Man, I'm gonna riot. Like he doesn't transform because that's stupid. He just gets animal-like powers, but he still stays human.
And see that
That's
that
Animal Man.
yeah,
That's Animal Man. That's not Beast Boy.
and see that weirds me out because like you said, it's Comic Con. You have to fire off, man. You got to go ham. You got to show people what you got. And apparently they got an unfinished product because one, editing looks bad, the blood CG looks bad.
The blood
Um,
CG looks back. The costumes don't look all that good.
yeah, the
There's
costumes are
like
weird.
there's like no lighting at all. There's
None. Oh my god! I
um,
think there might have been one
and,
scene, and
and
that's
the and oh dear God, the marketing.
yeah.
What was the tag? What was the tagline? Like time for your inner demons to be let out, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Some really stupid like edge lord shit that some hot topic teenager would write in this journal. I'm like, oh dear God, no.
Are you kidding? Reaper from Overwatch is telling you people to tone this down. The,
Okay, that's way too emo.
yeah, this is ridiculous, man. Um, I don't know what it is. What makes DC thinks dark and gritty means literally everything is dark and the film looks gritty. Um, people,
This is what our fan base wants. Like it feels like they know what their market is, what their demographic is, and the people that'll actually defend their stuff. And they're like, okay, this is for you because we clearly know what you guys want, and we what you want is to be told this is actually
yeah,
entertainment.
this is what maturity looks like. Not really. I mean, eventually Iron Man became a little more mature with his PTSD and drinking habits and relationship problems. That was kind of mature, and we don't need to have everything shot in the shadows in an alleyway.
I have a rebuttal for that. I have a rebuttal for people saying Marvel's too light. Did you watch Infinity War?
Yeah, like I said, like more like they've done things that's more mature. Batman v Superman had elements, but it didn't really hit. Dark Knight,
No, 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 no,
Dark
no,
Knight,
no, no.
Dark Knight was mature, and it didn't have to be super duper dark and gritty.
It was pretty dark, but that's getting off topic. The fact of the matter
Well,
remains, though, is that
that was more gothic, so it made sense. Robin,
no, no,
for
here,
anybody who knows about Teen Titans, Robin, when he becomes Nightwing, in fact, when he leaves Batman's side, he doesn't stay in Gotham. So why does everything still look like it's in Gotham? He leaves. He goes to what? Jump City?
Bloodhaven actually,
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Teen Titans, they did Jump City, whatever. But we don't even know where this takes place. It still looks like Gotham.
because
This
everything looks like Gotham with DC. Don't you know that?
pretty
But
much.
but but
But
but
wait,
here's the biggest
actually,
thing, though.
before you move on, I want to ask you a quick question. Did that show look cheap to you?
Yes,
Okay, because production wise, everything just looked super cheap. So now I'm going back to Beast Boy. I'm concerned
every,
that it didn't show the CG for him because it was
it,
not ready.
it looked more like a fan. It looked more like a fan with their name on. I hate to say it. It kind of looked like that. But here's something else. Let's get away from the minutia. nitpicking of the comic lore nonsense. Let's look at the presentation of Warner Brothers as a whole right here. Because let's think about this in the broad strokes. This is how they led things. Because we've been saying Titans is what they think their audience wants, but let's look at what they've actually shown. They showed off Shazam, which is being shown as more of a comedic, upbeat, fun adventure. Aquaman, which looks like it's going to be going for this sort of swashbuckling, adventure romp under the sea. Okay, Young Justice season 3. Hey, look, fanboys, we remembered you. Let's show off this animated action series that shows superheroes being superheroes, and then suddenly live action, poorly put together, poorly shot, poorly lit, bunch of angsty nobodies who actually think they're endearing characters going on about how fuck Batman, we're gonna fight crime and stuff and stuff. It's a giant sore thumb when you look at the rest of the stuff they showed off.
Yeah, you said all that, and you got to remember, this is what DC is using to jumpstart and sell the DC universe streaming
And
nonsense they're
having
doing,
and
and
having said, and the thing about though is that this is the big stuff they showed off. Other stuff was announced, like smaller, like they did,
yeah, yeah.
like Black Lightning's getting a second season. Supergirl got a fourth season, and apparently they're adding in new characters like Manchester Black. I'm like, okay, that's fine, that's fine. No, this is them putting their foot forward and saying, hey, guess what? The Teen Titans are getting a live action show. We think you're going to like it. And then Robin shows up and snaps some poor guy's neck. Fuck Batman.
Yeah, and on top of that, not only is this what you're doing to jumpstart your streaming app, everybody's gonna be thinking this is the level of production we're gonna get. So you already shot yourself in the foot, and now people are questioning: is this worth it? Is this something I want? Do I really want this DC universe app thing? I don't know. And then when you figure out that you can get other things better than Titans, yeah, probably. But this is what you're doing. This is what you're showing off. And
Marketing wise, it was not a wise move to lead with
no,
that.
it was a huge misfire, just awful misfire. And then they try to celebrate. It's like, unlock your inner demon. We're gonna go deep into their stories. I think Raven is the focus in the first season. She is a big deal because of who she is, her powers, and her father. Why is
And
this all
I
coming out in the first season?
and the thing is that if you know anything about Raven, that this her sort of style of origin and her mystic nature and stuff, that is not going to gel well with this grim, gritty, grounded sort of thing. It'll either look silly, it'll look cheap, or they won't even try. And either way, that's going to piss off fans.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Raven being part of the Titans. Even when she's on her own story, that's gritty. Her story is supposed to be dark and gritty and kind of
That
gothic.
that
But
that's dark. That's dark.
yeah,
That's understandable. That's real
that's Raven. Yeah,
angst.
if this was a show about Raven, cause, the first season about her, but if this was Raven's show and Robin and some of the Titans were in it, I'd have been fine with that. But the point is, Titans, they're a beacon of hope and all this other nonsense and friendship and pizza and all this other cool stuff. Raven's story is supposed to be that stopping, not stopping point, but like that point to where they take things a little more serious because their friend, who at one point didn't really believe in friends and being happy and all this,
Her, her,
is
her, her,
her.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's very difficult for you to believe you're a person when your father is. Could it be Satan?
Yeah,
Sorry.
and it's super stupid because the point of Raven's story is to bring things down to a more serious, mature level. You already got that in the first season, so why not make Titans a fun show, and then midway to the end, introduce Raven's darker story and tease it for like this is the future. We can be fun, but we can
My,
be
my,
dark
my,
and
my,
mature too.
Michael, you might want to have to accept the fact that we're not going to be able to fix this with a simple change of perspective.
Man, I'm, I'm trying to find some silver lining in here, and within this short timeline, we've already found a much better premise and show an idea for a first season than I don't know, Robin being super emo and Beast Boy jumping off buildings and Starfire
I look cool,
torching people
right?
to
Sure.
death and Raven Raven crying about everything. Raven is usually the one telling everybody about imminent danger and hey guys, this is fun and all, but seriously,
No,
you're being immature. This one,
no,
Robin, help me. You're the only
no,
one who can do this. Like what? No, this is
no.
stupid.
Help me, please. I can't do anything. I'm a whiny little girl who can't do anything.
Yeah, and you see,
Uh,
she's actually the most powerful Titan, and she has to hold herself back so much,
Michael,
or else she. I know. Okay,
Michael,
I'm sorry.
Michael, your nerd rage is showing,
No,
and I am.
it's just. Yeah, I told you we shouldn't talk about the show, but no, you had to bring it up. Let's find something else before I cry.
Okay, let's see what else we can talk about.
Fuck Titans.
That's the tagline for the show right there. Oh gosh. Oh yeah. Apparently they revealed a trailer for Glass, the M Night Shyamalan cinematic continuation of Unbreakable and Split. My gosh, what a time to be alive.
Whoa, hold on. I thought we moved on to stuff we didn't like. If you're telling me that you didn't like the look of Glass, I might have to replace you on this show.
I'm just saying it existed. I didn't actually watch the trailer. I'm just trying to get off the subject of the thing we don't talk about.
Well, I did say that I didn't want to move to something a little more upbeat. So I guess I'll just do a quick talk about Glass. It looks awesome. Oh my goodness, it looks awesome.
Awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Okay, moving on.
oh,
Okay,
that
moving
that
on.
that that, that brought up my spirits a little bit. That one.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Okay, okay, moving on. Let's see here. Fantastic Beasts 2. Never mind.
Yeah. I just know Johnny Depp took the stage, and some people have a problem with that because
There's a lot
his
of problems we have with that. Moving
yeah,
on.
because his ex was in there.
I'm not going to. Let's not touch that. I'm not going to
Oh,
touch that
because
with a football.
Disney and WB is not having a very good time right now.
My God, dear God, no. No. But looks like we have.
Dragon Prince. Did you see that trailer?
I did see the trailer
Since
for
we're talking
Dragon
about stuff that
Prince.
we don't like, God, that looks absolutely awful. Just terrible. I don't care if it's from the head writer and one of the directors from The Last Airbender. No, I'm sorry. We're not talking about M. Night Shyamalan. The Avatar, The Last Airbender. That
There you
show
go.
looks directly like. It looks awful. Oh my goodness! I actually brought up Berserker, and you,
The new you mean the most recent season of Berserk, where
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that terrible
yeah, the
that
newer.
god awful CGI where they butchered
What is with
Berserk.
everybody using that style? It doesn't look good. I don't. It doesn't look good with Ruby. It doesn't look good with Berserker. It doesn't look
Oh,
good with this show.
don't. If you know what you're doing with it and can account for of the technology, you can do good stuff with it. The
I
problem
can't.
is that the problem with that with the CG style is that either it's framed wrong or they don't put in the extra effort to actually put expressions on the faces, and they don't look like characters. They look like character models. It happens in Berserk. Knights of Sidonia actually do make an effort to work on that. And despite what you may be saying about Ruby, there's still plenty of character expression that does happen that mitigates some of the limitations of the technology,
Okay,
which is why
I will admit, Ruby. I think because they keep their action so hyper that it does look kind of cool, but it's when they just when they're walking by that it looks
that's what I'm
bad.
trying to get at. They are able to work around, are able to utilize,
Right,
and
but it keeps me away
where the
because
shortcomings.
right, but it's the animation. I think it's just frame skips. I think that's what gets to me. It's not the actual look; it's the frame skips, and I don't know why it looks that way.
I know what you're talking about. It looks a little janky, erratic. I kind of get that, but but here's the thing. I'm willing to give Dragon Prince the benefit of the doubt. I'm willing to give it a couple of episodes, only because this is being marketed as for the people who worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm willing to give that a look. And when it comes to that stuff, I'm always keeping an eye on story and characters. The action will inform that, but I'm interested in seeing how that goes first. So we'll see how that goes.
It did
Uh,
have a Avatar: The Last Airbender vibe with some of the awkward timing of the jokes. So yeah, I mean, if they're gonna bring that same vibe, yeah, I'll give it a try. The animation is gonna mess with me severely, but I will. But if you have a good story and characters, I would overlook that shortcoming. I really will.
Sounds great, but there really isn't that much else for us to talk about. They really grabbed us, I think. Like apparently, Batwoman is getting a CW show. Yay! The Flash is getting another season. Yay! Okay. Apparently, Mega Man's getting his own animated series. I didn't see the trailer. Okay.
You will blow a gasket if you saw that trailer. It, man, what can I compare it to, real quick? You know how everybody, you know how everybody tried to jump off of a reboot when reboot was the thing, and then all of a sudden all these other shows tried to do CG, but it looked really, really off. They're doing the same thing with Mega Man. Yeah, it it doesn't look good. Animation looks like it's still getting worked on. I will say it looks like they're still working on it. Mega Man seems active. I mean, he talks a lot, at least in the trailer.
I think I will simply wait until the Mega Man X collection releases later this week,
Oh
and
man,
wait for Mega Man 11 to come out.
yeah. It's just I know how you feel about Mega Man, and this I'm not a fan of Mega Man. Like I played so many old games when I was younger, but I'm not a Mega Man fanatic like other people. If this show sucks, it sucks. I don't really care. But watching this, I can see how anybody who's a Mega Man fan would be disappointed. Not mad, not like, oh, let's ruin my childhood, but just disappointed. Like, wow, really? You finally do a Mega Man show, and this is what we get? So, yeah, it's not really worth you watching. But with you being a fan, I would say take a look just to just to see how bad the writing is. The trailer always shows bad writing. So yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, and the voice acting, some of the deliveries off. Maybe it was the editing in the trailer because they usually do that. They do a lot of
Michael,
freaking bites. I'm sorry, man.
Michael, ha-
you,
Michael, do me a favor
hey, you're
and
gonna watch this trailer anyway, so I might as well prepare you for it.
do me a favor and wait until I see it, so
No,
then we can
hey
talk.
man, I'm preparing you because I know you thought I was raging with the last thing we were talking about. No, man,
My my
you
expect
can go
my
off.
my expectations are right now where if it's marginally if it marginally looks better than the old animated Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon, I'm willing to laugh at it. But we'll see how it goes. Apologies for the German accent, by the way, everybody. I've been playing up quite a bit of Wolfenstein 2 lately, and I've just gotten so used to hearing people talking German right before I shoot them in the face with a shotgun. Just how it goes.
Wow. And let me get you playing on the Switch.
Actually, no, I picked up on PS4 on
Really?
$20.
Oh.
It was on sale for like $20, and I never actually got a chance to play the full campaign. So I'm going through it, and I'm absolutely ecstatic that nobody has spoiled anything that happens
Yeah.
in the campaign for me
Yeah.
because oh my goodness,
It's pretty great. I'm actually stuck in the courthouse, so ugh,
it I'm well past the courthouse.
ugh.
I'm much further along. I've gotten to the sequence where Hitler shows up, and it is
Oh,
brilliant.
yeah, I've heard about that part, and
It is
yeah,
beyond brilliance. Like I'm having
it's actually a funny scene.
I enjoyed it. Like that's all I could say. Wolfenstein 2 is great, and it has a message I'll get behind. Nazis are bad. Shoot them in the head. Okay, so
Wasn't their tagline like punch a Nazi? I don't really give a shit.
it's like who doesn't want to shoot Nazis or
Just punch,
something?
yeah, just like punch Nazis. But I've been playing. I actually finally got into God of War for the
Ooh.
PS4. I was waiting until I got a PS4 Pro because I finally got a 4K TV and I want to see that game in just HDR glory. But
You wanted to see all the little bits of hair in Kratos' beard.
the thing is, even on my 2K monitor, it still looks really good. Like, my gosh, this is a really good looking game. Like, just beautiful. And now I want to restart it. This I haven't finished it yet, but I want to restart it when I get a PS4 Pro, just to see everything in 4K on my giant curved 4K TV.
Oh
Uh,
man, you have one of those.
oh yeah,
All right.
but
Okay.
yeah, God of War. I'm actually super surprised nobody spoiled that one either, because it is
I
it is surprisingly touch. They made Kratos into a human. It's really weird.
I have played God of War start to finish, and I actually did write a pretty a pretty big praiseworthy blurb for it because I was in the same boat as you when I played God, the new God of War. I'm like, okay, there's no way in hell I'm going to care about Kratos. He's a monster. He's a piece of garbage. I hated him thoroughly by the time I finished up God of War 3 like 6 years ago. I don't care. He's dead to me. I finished the new God of War. I'm crying.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like God of War 1 and 2, you actually had sympathy for Kratos for what he was going through. By the
God
time,
of War one,
but
God of War one to a certain extent.
yeah, but
Two, two,
three was
two,
just
two, two, two and three. He was basically a mad dog with rabies that was able to kill gods.
yeah, but that's what I liked about two. I was like, okay, he got his vengeance in one. Two, he's just angry at gods now, and I was like, okay, yeah, this works. Three, it's yeah, you're stretching this. Can't you just be done, Kratos? Why are you still mad?
And then God of War 4. I was imagining like he basically like woke up out of a blood fury hangover. It's like, oh my gosh, what have I done? He has like, and that's I'm actually not trying to shortchange that, but there is like clearly a sense of like I'll say it. It feels like they really do kind of sell this sort of feeling of almost like post traumatic stress. Well,
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
comes to Kratos,
yeah. You
like
see,
this, there's a legitimate sense of regret of what he
well,
did,
I don't think
and
I don't think it's great. I think it's somebody who knows his past, doesn't want his son to know about it, and is
oh
genuinely
my
trying to actually be a good person, but he doesn't know how. Kratos doesn't know how to be a caring person, and with this, it's him actually trying for once.
oh my god, and the father son stuff with him and Atreus is perfect. The pacing
Yeah,
is
I,
perfect.
I, I every time Atreus would talk, like sometimes it was him stating the obvious, but every time he would talk, I would side more with Atreus and be like, "Yo, Kratos, fucking just pat your son on the back at least. Jeez, man." Like, and when Kratos actually like praises Atreus in combat, I would have a smile on my face, like, "Yeah, there you go, that's your son." Like when he would just be like, "Good shot, good job." I was like, "There you go, Kratos." Was that so hard? Like,
Cats in the cradle with the silver spoon.
yeah,
Little
it's like
boy blue and the man.
like I felt oddly proud of Kratos for coming out of his shell and being like actually giving his son a thumbs up. It's really weird, but yeah, I'm loving the PS4 God of War, and I'm loving it so
Oh,
far.
oh man. I will say nothing. I'm very glad you have not some. I have to ask, how far have you gotten?
I'm at the first whole light thing when I'm facing off against the dark elves, so
Oh,
I'm
oh,
not too far. I'm
oh,
still pretty early in.
oh, okay. With the Dark Elves, I will say nothing. I will say nothing because there's some. There's a lot of good stuff to follow. I will say nothing. So
Yeah,
I
it
think
looks pretty.
I think there's not much else for us to talk about, but I think we get ourselves a new format here with that random podcast show. So let's, for old time's sake, do what we usually do. If you would like to hear more about our thoughts on geek culture or the like, you can follow me on Twitter at Darth Rahu. You can also read me. I'll read my features on gaming and gaming culture at thegamefanatics.com. In fact, later on this month, I will be publishing another one of my indie game spotlights. This time on the game 20XX by Battery Staple Games. I will also be writing a feature, hopefully with input by the lovely studio Digital Extremes, regarding the evolution of Warframe. Um, I am also slowly bringing my personal blog, cybertavern.blogspot.com, back out of mothballs after a very taxing 6 weeks I've had that I will detail and I will bring up in detail in the blog itself. Stay tuned. Michael, where can they follow you?
Hey, you better be following me on Twitch right now, stalking my channel. But but you can find me on Twitter with Zafmod. But of course, you can find me on my Twitter handle at M_MOSLEY_JR. And I am actually going to be using this Twitch account more often with more streaming. I'm going to be streaming a bunch of indie games now. That's going to be my new thing since I pretty much given up on journalism because everybody wants you to do it for free. Forget that nonsense. I'm going to work for me. And we will actually be doing this podcast more often now that we've actually gotten comfortable with live streaming. I think we've got this down pat.
Watch this stream like burn up, and we have to go on a crazy adventure together in order to get our stuff back. And we're like, okay, this is gonna be how it's like every week. I'm out.
Yeah. As long as we don't have to go back to Audacity, I think we'll be okay.
I'm getting the impression that while everybody else was using like, flamethrower and a flamethrower, we were still using like flint and a rock. So I think we'll be fine there.
Yeah, we were putting fire on the end of pitchforks and stuff, trying to fight
Yeah.
back while everybody else is using cannons and whatnot.
We're getting with the times. It's great. All right, I think that'll be it for the night. Good night, everybody.
Later.